Good morning, staff. Happy Friday before spring break. Definitely, I believe all of us are looking forward to next week. Before we get started, though, I definitely have got to ask a question out there. And remember, the answer is not neither. Do I look better looking to my left on camera or to my right on camera? Remember, neither is not an option. I certainly understand through my first time that things may not go as well as I expect doing this over camera, so I'm going to apologize for holding up my script so I can remember everything that I want to share today. Hey, thanks again for all your outstanding work this week. I know that we have been working hard to be creative, inventive, flexible, and even helpful in all the various tasks and responsibilities that have fallen upon us. I know that this is what makes us a truly great staff here at Prairie Woods. I'm so proud of what we have accomplished. Currently, we have not received news yet about all the time following the March 27th timeframe. In a call with the Commissioner of Education yesterday, school superintendents across the state reiterated the fact that knowing sooner what would take place after the 27th is better than waiting longer. I know this morning that Governor Walz issued a 2 p.m. press release this afternoon, or a press conference this afternoon. We really don't know yet what is going to be in the press conference or what will be stated. Stay tuned as we plan to follow up with kind of an end-of-the-day message today. A few things as we begin looking ahead over our time. I want to reiterate that I will send out an email next week regarding how we will be taking attendance going forward if we are not back in school on the 30th. Right now, we are looking closely at just using our learning boards as that main tool. So the idea that the students complete the must-dos and the parents give a signature or send us an email just giving us an email back saying they have completed things may count for the attendance piece. We are still confirming everything with the State Department that we are okay with doing that, but we believe we are fine. By utilizing both the must-do materials and or the signature, it will allow us families some flexibility of when they can get onto any of their electronic devices to complete any of the learning boards, or allow us to get paper copies to them so they can complete it throughout the course of the week. It definitely will be important for us when we come back to begin checking into the must-dos and the signatures once we request them back. Again, that will be our main attendance portion at that point in time. And we realize that parents may be doing things electronically, so just a signature coming back over the computer is fine. I will go out with a message to all of our families at the end of next week explaining more about the attendance to them, and I will also include a letter to you guys as well so you know what is happening and what is taking place. Shifting gears a little bit, I want to thank all of you for the phone calls that you made to families yesterday. I realize that some calls may have been awkward, some parents may have been very talkative or even very quiet. Some phone calls may have been sharing tough issues or sad situations with you of what's going on in their life. You may have even taken phone calls thanking you for all the extra efforts of things that we are doing through this very difficult time. Whatever that phone call was like, just you making that personal connection was a great opportunity, and I appreciate each and every one of you reaching out to the parents. If you weren't unable to reach a parent or reach one of the families, I ask you to please continue to try to do that today. If you still are unable to connect with them by the end of the day, before you leave, if you can just leave them a voice message to inform them that you will try calling them back on Monday the 30th, Monday, March 30th, that is, right after spring break, just to let them know that we'll try to reach out again. I am so proud of you at this particular point that we have collected over 552 responses in our survey, which is just outstanding. So right now we're going to change over to our screen that will show a little bit of our survey results. Following this particular message, Lindsay and I are going to work to break down the survey results so we can then send them out to you. please take a look. Actually, we've even increased that. I think I said 552, and we are up to 556 responses at this point, which is outstanding considering we have student numbers up around the 580 mark. So very well done. I'm going to turn things over to Lindsay to speak a little bit about the other slides coming up.
And I have exciting news. Looking at our current survey, we're up as of right now to 563 responses. So that's a huge shout out to you for making these positive connections with home and getting this data for us that is so powerful. And that's what we thought was valuable to share with you during this staff meeting. As we go through the slides, you may only see a summary with the percentages, but I'll be able to break down maybe actual numbers. And then our goal is, as we close the survey and Mr. Jewell feels like we've collected enough data as a building, we will be sending out a grade level specific spreadsheet of this data. So that as you're building your week 2 learning boards, or maybe looking back and reviewing the final touches of your week 1 learning boards, that those assignments and those ideas that you had really reflect the needs of our grade level students that are within your classrooms. We'll also be able to filter that survey result by grade level for classroom specific teacher. So this will be really valuable data, and my goal is to get that in your hands as you come back from lunch. So then you can focus your afternoon of reviewing that data as a grade level and as a team, looking at your specific needs, because we know there was a lot that was coming in and out of those phone conversations, and we definitely did not expect you to take those detailed notes. So that will be a nice thing for you to be able to look at and focus on this afternoon, and I will make sure that that is shared with you. As we look at this slide right now, this is our result data from how you would like me to connect to you as a parent. And I'll just give you the raw numbers. In the blue was our Seesaw responses, and that number was actually 389 families. So that's really good data for us to know that Seesaw is something we'll continue to provide training on, since it's such a large chunk of parents' preference as we connect to them through distance learning. The red area was through Class Dojo, and that 13.8% ended up being 77 families, so that's really good information for us as well. And then we had that 4.4% was 25 families that still would like to communicate through phone call. And I think that's really valuable for us to know as educators, that that is their comfort zone right now. And as we start, this may change, but those phone calls will allow us to know of those changes. And the green section, the 12.8, that was 71 families wanting email communication. And of course, that may change as we start providing a little bit of information on Seesaw or Class Dojo, and maybe that comfort zone will increase a little bit as home environments are getting a routine and figuring out what distance learning may look like for them. The other section will just include in your grade level data, so you'll be able to see that as a grade level. The next slide was just really helpful for the district-wide administrators to see how effective that parent survey was. That was sent out on Monday of this week. And for those of you that put in a no for those families, that ended up being about 129 responses. So when we look at this pie chart, this is an answer from the people who said, no, I did not complete that survey from Monday. So we'll add this data, and these are great numbers for us to see as we build learning boards, that we have a very strong amount that have reliable internet at home. On the next slide, you'll get to see reliable devices, and this is really going to build our confidence. Oh, yeah, let me update that. Cassie just gave me an update.
Behind, like you're talking about slides they can't see yet.
Oh,
Right? So
yeah.
Kind of catch
Oh,
up.
the audio's delayed too.
Okay.
so they
Oh.
can see it here.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Cassie brought up a good point, whether you could see our slides and voice at the same time. So I'm hoping that's lining up for you. As we look at reliable devices, I know you filtered a lot of questions about the whole unknown of, well, we have one device, but 3 or 4 children in the home, and what those expectations look like. So for us, this was really good to see that there is at least one reliable device in homes for 98.3% of our home environments. This is also really nice by grade level. You'll be able to filter what type of devices, for example, kindergarten homes have access to. So as you reflect on your learning board activities and start building future learning boards, you can really keep this in the back of your head of what that access looks like, because we're always aware a phone is not always best if we're having certain learning expectations, but if it comes to a video or a short little lesson that as we build our comforts in how teaching looks like in distance learning, this will be really nice to see.
Note that the last 3 slides too were all related to the no portion of that question that asked about, did you complete the survey on the 16th? So just be aware those last 3 slides were all information just pertaining to those that said no. So it provides us again more information from a district standpoint of are there ways we can help family if they are unable to connect at that point in time.
The slide you're looking at right now is a big one for us as we start looking on how we plan for what learning looks like and how we'll get these materials into the home environments. And so this is all about accessing learning materials. Our largest portion, thankfully, this will take a lot off of our plate, 41.7%, which is about 235 home environments are going to utilize our school website. So I will work with Megan and make sure that all of our learning board links are updated and open, because that's going to be a huge way of communicating our learning and our expectations at home. The red portion, the 36.1, is roughly 200 families that responded that they will be planning on picking up those materials at Prairie Woods. So that's really good for us to know as we are utilizing our time and thinking of paper materials or resources to help through learning boards, that we will have a certain number that we'll look at for collection and drop off and what that will look like. Randy, do you want to speak on what has been kind of decided?
One of the things that we're going to look to move towards for pickup, for delivery of things, is that as we get into spring break being next week, the Monday when we return is the time that we will have to begin gathering those materials for students that we will either need to drop them off at their home or they need to pick up here at school. So we will have Monday to be able to put those things together, with the idea that on Tuesday we will communicate out to families that don't have the online access that they can either pick it up at school between 7:15 or 6 p.m. or on Tuesday we'll begin driving them home to home and dropping off those materials. As we do the drop-offs, that's the time that we will also ask you to kind of take a look out into the hallway, and if your students that we are either taking things to or if the parents are picking up here have locker materials, we encourage you to gather those bags and include them with any of the resources that we need to place in the hands of the students, including a copy of the front page of the learning board. Again, that front page is what could be utilized coming back for the attendance piece, so it'll be important for us to give a copy to any families picking up or any families that we are delivering to. In addition to that, what I just want you guys to say is, as we begin to think about putting things together, I know some of you might be at the point today where you're making copies of some of those things by which we can look to distribute or for them to pick up. Please gather and compile those things together, and that's part of what the survey will help provide you with, is who needs that if you didn't write that down yesterday. But as you gather them together, as you label things, we're going to ask that you put a sheet of paper on it with the student's name, the grade level, and the teacher on it. So that will help us for the organizing of our front entry as we begin to work on that later Monday afternoon, or for our delivery drivers so they know where everything will get dropped off. Just by having the name, the grade level, and the teacher's name on it, that will help all of those things for our next steps.
Yeah, in helping looking at this data, there are roughly 70 to 80 families that have requested the main source of access being delivery to home. So that's nice for us to see, and I know that could possibly change as week 2 or week 3 is necessary in distance learning. But right now, just in your heads, about 70 to 80 families that are needing delivery in some way. The next slide is talking about the free lunch access, and this was really, really awesome to see that there are still some families that are wanting more information on that, and that can really help us ease that worry. And so administration will be reaching out to that 16.2% that still want that information. And that just tells us how good of a job are we doing of reaching out to these families, and how is our communication getting to everyone. So thank you again for just getting extra info for us so that we can reduce that worry of food and some of those basic needs.
Please know too that if you have families that call back later and then say, can I inquire more about this, please don't hesitate to put them in contact with either Michelle Solsberg or Vicki Mickelson. They are the ones that will help in coordinating any of those food service things. If you just take down the student's name as well as the parent name and phone number, give it to Michelle or Vicki, they will definitely reach out. So it's not something that they have to necessarily have signed up for right now. If things continue on and they wish to receive that, we can get them signed up at any point in time.
And last slide, this really speaks to the relationships that we have with our families. Most of them felt very comfortable just speaking to you if there was a special circumstance. And please know that if there's anything that changes, because this was a lot to absorb for those parents that were kind of walking through this survey with you over the phone, that if anything changed, or if after they thought about it for a while and you get a phone call back on something that needs to be changed within our data, please just email that to me, and I will include those updates within the survey results. So if you get any calls asking if this data is finalized, by no means is it final. We can always edit that, and if they've thought about this for a while and they change their mind, please just send that to me, and I've already created a list of those circumstances that we need to edit within the original survey results.
If you had any parents too, I know that there's a small percentage that like me to reach out to them. Just know that if they reach out to you, that I will be following up with them next week. I'll try to do that early in the week so I get back in touch with each of them that have requested my phone call to them. So just kind of an awareness, if anyone reaches back out to you saying, when will Mr. Jewell call, let them know that it'll be early next week that I will do that. In addition, if you had any other special circumstances that after you got off the phone that you didn't get written into the sheet and you forgot to add it, or maybe it was something that they said that you went, oh, maybe I should put that in the special circumstances box. If you just send the name of the student along with what special circumstance, if you didn't get it put in, to Lindsay, she can actually go into the survey. We can drop it directly into the box with that individual student, just to make sure we have it posted in there if there was something more that you felt we should be aware of. Otherwise, I have to tell you that I have been so proud of each of you for all the work that you did in gathering the materials, or gathering the phone calls and getting a hold of families. It truly has been a great way for us to reach out. One of the things as we begin moving forward that we all have to think about are ways that we're going to stay connected with our families. So we'll be having more discussion of that when we return on the 30th. But again, for right now, I appreciate all your hard work. Note if you're starting to think ahead of things, you may want to think about working to gather your resources for your families that need delivery or that would like to pick things up here. But again, we'll have Monday on March 30th when we return to do that as well. So please, at this point in time, take a sigh of relief, pat yourself on the back, thank your colleagues. All of you have been working extremely hard, and I'm so proud of you. I want to wish you a wonderful spring break. I hope we get a chance to see you back here on the 30th. But of course, as you know, anything may change. Even right following this piece or with the governor's message later today, we know that sometimes the news we're giving you is what we currently have and could change at any moment thereafter. Have a wonderful spring break. Thanks again for all your work.
Everyone, I have one last just comment about if we have a need for week 2 learning boards, I will be sending out those templates just like we did for week 1. And you're welcome to start building those once I send the template out. If you are one of those people that's a ultra organizer, start making little notes if you want to. But really we want to pace ourselves well so that we can collect how things are going within week 1 and really look back and reflect on this parent survey data this afternoon and really reflect on week 1 as of right now, instead of getting too far ahead of ourselves and then needing to tweak things based on needs at home. So I wanted to just let you know those templates will be coming to you if we have a need for a week 2 distance learning board. But right now, let's just focus on the now and that week 1. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.